Immunotherapy has now evolved as the fourth pillar of cancer therapies. It is a fantastic weapon and producing some extremely exciting results. However, there are some major challenges. The first is, what is the proper diagnosis? Do we know what target antigen to even look at in the cancer? So genomics is now playing a big role in diagnosis. The second is we need an antibody to react against the target antigen, so that antibody can then be incorporated into killer T cells, these chimeric antigen receptor T cells. So that in the gene editing is a challenge. How do we do that? How do we get a foreign gene into the cell safely? There are two ways of doing that. One is using viruses like a FedEx envelope, where the virus carries the gene into the cell, delivers it and disappears. Or we can use this new technology called CRISPR-Cas9. So the editing is a challenge. How do we do it? Virus is very expensive, CRISPR is brand new. So once we've got that cell, how do we get enough of them to treat a patient? The current thinking is you need approximately 1 billion cells. Well, that's a lot. So how can we expand up these killer cells in sufficient number? Remembering at the moment, CAR T cells are primarily taken from the patient themselves in what we call autologous therapies, and the number of cells that are available from a patient is limited. And the patient themselves have undergone chemotherapy, so that the immune cells are not only low in number, but low in function. So how do we overcome that problem? And then we need to look at downstream effects. What about the safety? What about when the cells do get into the body, the killer cells, and they release cytokines, and this cytokine storm can be in fact very toxic? Is the killer T cell the right cell? Are there other cells that we could use, like natural killer cells and other subpopulations of cells? What's the balance between the immune cells that we infuse and the patient's immune cells? These and many other questions will be discussed in great detail at the upcoming Eradicate Cancer conference next March 25th to 27th, entitled Next Frontiers in Immunotherapy.